In this video I want to share a moment I had been waiting for so long. It was June 23, so it was 9 months since we moved from Russia to Slovenia. And the hardest part of this journey was being away from the rest of my family. I miss them so much. And finally, after all those months apart, they came to visit. I was the happiest human on the planet. I wanted to show them every corner of this beautiful country. Together with Roma, we planned routes that included some of the best places to visit. In just 10 days, we went on the most incredible adventures. We could start our mornings in the mountains and end the same day by the sea. We drove around half of Slovenia, had a brief tour of Austrian lakes, and even spent a night at Croatian seaside. It was crazy, it was lovely, and it was so much fun. Hi everyone, my name is Jana, and I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I do. So we kicked off our big adventure. Everyone piled into the cars, snacks packed, playlists ready, and we set off toward one of Slovenia's most iconic places, Lake Bled. As we were driving up to Bled, we already couldn't get over how beautiful the water looked from the road. It had that unreal turquoise color sparkling in the sunlight. We parked near a little café by the lake and had coffee with the beautiful view, which gave us a perfect moment to slow down and appreciate the surroundings after the drive.
We see rivers and like it.
After that, we headed out on foot and walked the full circle around the lake. The path was calm and shaded by trees, with little surprises along the way. Ducks gliding by, lily pads floating near the shore, and the sound of church bells echoing softly across the water.
Know that it was formed out of the glaciers.
You just read it.
Not now. I read when we were...
You read it 20 minutes ago.
Yes. I wanted to look educated for my subscribers.
It don't work.
The water looked like emerald glass, so clear you could see the pebbles at the bottom. My mom kept saying that it doesn't look real, it's so beautiful.
Вот какие.
Ой. People were swimming, sunbathing, and jumping off trees into the lake. It felt like the perfect summer escape. Lake Bled is over 14 years old. It was formed by glaciers, and its clean, bright water comes from the light rocks underneath. In the middle of the lake sits the Bled Island. The island has a tiny church that has been there since the 15th century. There is a bell inside, and legend says if you're in it, your wish will come true. We didn't go to the island though. Why? Because we had one more magnificent lake visit planned that day. After Bled, we headed to Lake Bohinj, a place that is just as beautiful but has a wilder, more dramatic atmosphere. The drive there was stunning. Winding roads wrapped between tall mountains and deep green forests. Around every turn there was another breathtaking view. As soon as we arrived, we found a cozy cafe that was located right beneath a massive cliff. That cliff was incredible, towering above us, ancient and full of character. We sat down for a meal, enjoying the calm atmosphere and the cool shade under the rock. Right next to the restaurant, there were goats wandering around, and we ended up feeding them fresh grass. It was such a sweet, unexpected moment that was especially fun for Alisa.
Ой, смотри, как есть. Это страшно.
Naturally, an attentive viewer may ask, well, that's all good, but where is the actual lake? And of course, we couldn't live without seeing the lake itself. Lake Bohinj is huge, much bigger than Bled, and completely breathtaking. The water stretches far into the distance, framed by tall mountains and deep forests. It felt raw and peaceful at the same time, like something out of a storybook. Then I saw a group of school children paddling little canoes across the lake. I couldn't help but think how special it must be to grow up like that, gliding through this crystal clear water surrounded by mountains. On the way back, we made a quick stop at Bled Castle. And if you are confused why we're at Bled again, that is because the only non-life-threatening way to get to Bohinj is through Bled. So you come to Bled again on your way back. There is also another way to get there from a car train, but that's a story for a different time.
Да поднимется, конечно, Яна такая говорит, но вот спустится ли? Мама такая, что, почему?
И она не едет. Я на 4-й еду, смотрю Wortersee, думаю, блин.
We came to Bled Castle.
At the castle, it was super windy and it was already getting late, only about an hour before closing, so we didn't go inside. But we stood behind its ancient stone walls, wind in our hair, and just took in the view. We were all tired but glowing after such a long, beautiful, adventure-filled day.
Бегите, бегите!
Back home, we gathered on the terrace with drinks and chips, sharing stories and laughing late into the evening. Day 1 was everything we hoped for, and it was only the beginning.
Сегодня любование закатом.
We woke up early, had a quick breakfast, and I let Alisa do my makeup. I left the house with glittery cheeks and accompanied by a proud little artist.
And today we're going to the most beautiful part of Slovenia, to Kranjska Gora, and we will see Soča River. That will be a great journey, I hope.
And we hit the road. The drive to Kranjska Gora is one of my favorite routes in Slovenia. Winding through alpine villages and valleys with snowy peaks in the distance, every turn feels like a postcard. And just as we were getting close, the sky turned grey and rain began to fall. For a moment, I thought we might miss the views completely. Yet Slovenian weather has this magical habit of sometimes changing its mood several times a day. And sure enough, the clouds began to shift. We arrived in the village just as the rain lightened.
It's rather cold here, so we were not ready for this.
It was quiet and cozy with the kind of charm that makes you want to slow down and observe.
Вкусно? We decided to drop into Mercator.
We stopped by a local shop and picked up bureks. Warm, crispy and tasty. You can find them all over Slovenia, from tiny bakeries to gas stations, and they never disappoint. So if you're ever visiting, don't miss out on bureks. We made our way to Lake Jasna. At first, everything was covered in mist, the water was still and the mountains were hidden, almost like they were waiting for the right moment. And then slowly the clouds began to lift, revealing those towering peaks in all of their glory, majestic, powerful and glowing softly in the changing light. We fed the dogs, snapped some photos and just stood there completely still. It felt like the mountains had been waiting just for us, saving the view for the perfect reveal.
Там еще такое.
our plan wasn't to go back the same way we came, but to continue our adventure forwards and cross the Slovenian Alps and the Triglav National Park to then come down to a completely different region of the country. On our way up to the mountains, we visited the Russian chapel, a quiet, touching place surrounded by forest. It was surreal to know that the chapel, as well as the road we were driving on, was built by the Russian POWs during the World War I. We made several stops on our way through the mountains at hidden pull-offs that had views that made us gasp. Nature has a way of composing itself so perfectly, as if every tree, every rock, every cloud was placed with care. Sometimes it feels like Slovenia itself is a living painting.
Now we are going to the source of the river Soča.
From there, we followed the road toward the Soča River. First, we made a stop at its source, but to our surprise, the water wasn't flowing there. Further along, we found a little wooden bridge stretching across the river. And when we saw the water below, we all felt quiet. The color of the water didn't look real at all. That radiant, almost glowing turquoise tone, like glacier light that was trapped in a liquid form.
The water is so transparent.
The minerals in the rocks, the purity, it all came together in a way that felt almost otherworldly. We stood there for a long time listening to the water rush like we had stepped into a secret corner of the world. The views here really blew my mind, and just when I thought it couldn't get better, we found another beautiful bridge nearby. There we got some amazing shots of the Soča River. If you ever decide to follow our adventure, I will leave the exact location linked in the description below. We came down from the mountain range and found a little restaurant for dinner.
A very beautiful place near the river Soča.
It was on a small hill with a gorgeous view and a charming playground right next to it. There was an interesting sandbox shaded by real grey winds. I loved the detail, such a clever and cozy way to keep the sun off. While some of us went to order food, Alisa and I hit the playground.
Here is the restaurant, and here we're playing with Alisa.
Eventually we joined the others at the table, a little dusty, very hungry and completely happy. It was the kind of meal that tastes extra good when you have it after a full day of adventure. But we were not done just yet. On the way home we passed through Idrija, a small charming town known for its mercury mine and lace-making tradition. The drive was beautiful with green hills and curvy roads all around. Our last stop was the Wild Lake. Just a few kilometers from Idrija, it's a fascinating spot. Part cave, part spring and part lake. To get there, you walk down a forest and then, like a hidden secret tucked away in the trees, it suddenly appears. It is considered the deepest lake in Slovenia, with divers reaching depths of 160 meters. Surrounded by green silence, we popped open a bottle of champagne. It felt like the perfect ending. A hidden gem, a quiet toast, and the people I love most by my side.
Вот тут тоже такая.
After 2 adventure-packed days on the road, lakes, mountains, rivers, castles, we definitely needed a breather. Not every day of the trip was go, go, go. In between all these adventures, we made sure to have some cozy home days too. Just relaxing, cooking together, playing with Alisa, and recharging for the next day. One of our favorite little breaks was a visit to thermal spa Olimia. It is a Slovenian wellness pool complex on the other side of the country. I wasn't filming much there because honestly I was just enjoying it. The Orchidelia zone in particular was amazing. Peaceful, beautifully designed and perfect for relaxing. That day we drove off early in the morning and had breakfast at a café called Flerin in the town of Domžale. It is a cozy place with great food. We had some coffee and delicious pancakes. After fueling up, we were ready for the day's adventure, which was visiting the Velika Planina or the Big Plateau. Now we're going up. We didn't take the cable car because it was kind of pricey for that many people, so we drove up for as far as it was possible and then hiked the rest of the way on foot. And it wasn't easy. The trail was steep and rocky in places, and it was especially tough because Roma was pushing the stroller with Alisa the whole way up. We were all pretty out of breath, but the views and the atmosphere were worth it.
Really exhausted already. The more we get upstairs, the sunnier it becomes. So now we're on the top of the hill. It's rather windy.
We reached the top and wow, it looked unreal. The grass was this crazy vibrant green, soft, glowing like something from another planet. The whole plateau was covered with wooden shepherd huts, cows wandering freely with their bells gently ringing, and the sky felt endless.
My friend's cows.
When I was little, I remember seeing such cows on chocolate covers and ads.
Now we're just looking for the place where we can have a snack. Oh, thank you! Pasha gave me flowers. Very beautiful, you see?
One more.
So now we came just to the local restaurant, and the shepherd here sells natural cheese and milk.
We met a local shepherd and bought some fresh cheese and milk from him. It was amazing, so rich and full of flavor. Alisa drank 2 big mugs of milk and was so happy. She kept smiling and asking for more.
Дианочка, с днем рождения! I really liked the cheese, and Alisa drank like 2 cups of milk. It is really natural and very tasty.
We were so happy up there, laughing, relaxing, just enjoying the atmosphere. And I know we'll come back someday.
Мини-гендель.
Побежали, побежали, побежали.
I just want to take some photos with cows. Ром доволен.
Слушай, как красиво.
I will just put it in the link below. Писать свои ощущения. Ура!
Ты Катя?
Классно!
The next day we set off south of Ljubljana towards the famous Postojna Cave. I was really looking forward to the train ride through the cave. I had seen pictures before and it looked like something incredible.
So we are running. today we came to Postojna Cave and Predjama Castle. It is one of the most largest cave castles in the world. Now we are in a queue waiting for our railway ride.
It's very cold railway inside of a cave.
When we arrived in the morning, I was surprised by how packed the place was. There were already lots of people, even though it was still early in the morning. But the whole process was organized well, and we didn't have to wait long before we were seated on the little cave train ready for the adventure.
Already on the train, Alisa is very happy. She's very excited.
The train zoomed through the tunnels and it felt like being inside an adventure movie. It was such a fun ride and Alisa absolutely loved it. Her eyes were wide trying to catch everything flying past. It's not a short ride either, you really go deep into the cave for about half an hour.
It's very amazing, really.
Then we joined the tour on foot, walking through the giant halls filled with stalactites, stalagmites, and all these magical rock formations. They explained the different types of caves, how they form, and other interesting facts. After the tour, we got back on the train and rode through the caves again, and I was just fascinated. It's an entire wall that is hidden underground. I kept thinking how incredible nature is.
It's a really long walk. We are going and going and going, and there is no end of this cave. Roma sometimes just decides to sing. Where is this song from?
Oh, I made it up.
No, I really know it.
Потрогай.
Помашите. Ой, как ты красиво работаешь.
After the cave, we headed to the amazing Predjama Castle, the one that is built right into the rock. And I mean into the rock. It looks like the mountain itself is holding the castle in its arms. As we got closer, it felt like we were walking into a medieval legend. We took on excursions through the castle, exploring every corner, from secret tunnels to grand halls. You could feel the history in the walls. The views from the castle windows were just incredible. Everything looked so medieval and untouched, like time had paused there. Then we went to a restaurant that was across the valley from the castle. You could see the entire view of the cliffs and the castles from there. The food was absolutely delicious, rustic and real. I was sitting there with a big smile on my face, thinking, wow, kings and queens really knew how to live in beautiful places. Everything felt magical. So we already rode a cave train and we visited a rock castle, but why stop there? Remember, we're in Slovenia. So we decided to head toward the sea and made a spontaneous stop at Strunjan beach. Board for Alisa. Now we came to Strunjan beach. It's not a big tourist spot, more of a quiet, almost wild-feeling stretch of shoreline surrounded by cliffs and pine trees. Of course we swam. The sea was warm, the sun was golden, and the air smelled like salt and trees. Alisa was playing with the stones, though she wasn't too happy about walking on them barefoot, which made us laugh. She kept making these dramatic faces and hopping from foot to foot. It was peaceful and simple, just the sound of water, sunshine on our skin, and that kind of tired happiness after a long, beautiful day. And finally we reached Piran, one of the most charming seaside towns I have ever seen. Been to Piran! It's very beautiful. It's our first time here. I heard a lot about this town. Everybody likes it. It is small, full of character, and the atmosphere reminded me a little of Italy. Narrow winding streets, all colorful buildings, and that unmistakable scent of the sea.
Папу как зовут?
Очень белый смотрится. У меня Яма? Сюда берите? Все убегают. After exploring quiet corners, we found a cozy little restaurant with a view of the sea. We settled in for a slow, sun-drenched dinner. A glass of wine, some fresh local food, light and full of flavor. It was everything a summer evening by the coast should be. The sky turned golden, the waves whispered below, and in that moment it felt like the perfect ending to a beautiful day.
Today we're going to Austria.
Besides exploring Slovenia, we also drove across the border and had a lake tour in Austria.
А маму как зовут? Ян. Ага. А папу как зовут? Crossing the border with Austria.
Everything felt so close, just a short drive, and suddenly we were in a whole new country with its own charm and atmosphere. Our first stop was a lake with a funny sounding name, Faakersee. This place is absolutely breathtaking. The water is incredibly clear with this unreal turquoise blue color that almost doesn't look real. Then we stopped in the charming town of Villach, such a cozy and inviting place. We wandered through narrow lanes, peeked inside a quiet church, and bought sweet pastries. It's the kind of town that makes you slow down, breathe deeply, and smile at strangers for no reason. I remember it for the cheerful umbrellas hanging above the streets like floating candy. It gave the town such a playful, artsy vibe, and Alisa kept pointing up at the colors. We then headed north to the Ossiacher Lake. It's a larger lake surrounded by forested hills and picturesque villages. The light there was so soft and golden, with everything reflecting beautifully on the surface of the water. We flew a drone there and enjoyed the sun. Austrian nature truly amazed me that day. As we drove, we passed through peaceful forests, each one different from the next. Some were dense and green, while others were more open with sunlight streaming through the trees. We spotted a deer quietly eating and cows grazing lazily in the fields. Then we came across a beautiful lake, so calm and reflective it felt like a hidden gem.
Birds are singing.
Then we came to the luxurious Velden am Wortersee, and suddenly it felt like we would stepped into a movie set for the rich and fabulous. Expensive cars lined the streets and the mood was buzzing. Unknowingly, we got there during the annual luxury car meetup. The streets were filled with sleek, gleaming cars cruising slowly past cheering crowds. People were dressed up, yachts sparkled in the harbor, and the whole town gave off this Monaco of Austria energy. It was over the top, but also kind of thrilling. A total shift in the vibe and honestly such a fun and unexpected surprise. Finally, we made it to Klagenfurt am Wörthersee. By this time, we were hungry, so we found a cozy restaurant, ate a warm meal, and relaxed for a bit. After dinner, we headed to the famous Wortersee. It is the largest lake in Carinthia, which is what this region of Austria is called. The beach was full of people swimming, sunbathing, and soaking up the last light of day. We dipped our feet in the water and watched the sun set behind the hills. Some of us were braver than others. Pasha and Nikita decided to try swimming. The water wasn't exactly warm, actually quite cold, but that didn't stop them. We were all having such a nice time and Alisa was completely amazed. At one point, she suddenly took off her clothes and ran straight toward the water to try it herself. It was so unexpected and funny and turned into one of the best moments of the evening. Our final stop was the center of Klagenfurt. We saw the famous fountain with a dragon, which is the symbol of the city. I also really liked the architecture, charming buildings, pastel facades, and a cozy atmosphere all around. It felt calm and welcoming. We sat at a nearby café, had coffee and apple strudels, and just enjoyed the moment. It was the perfect way to end a long, eventful day.
Не реагируй. Не реагируйте.
What family vacation without swimming, right? We thought so too, and on the 8th day we made a trip to Croatia. Our first stop was the store where we picked up groceries and some beach toys for Alisa. We had booked small cabins right by the sea, each with a little barbecue area, so we bought everything we would need in advance, including meat for grilling.
Already saw the sea.
The cabin area was truly lovely, surrounded by greenery, peaceful and dotted with other cozy little houses.
This is our house. So this is our house, and that will be the house of our friend Lisa.
As soon as we arrived and opened the door to our cabin, we knew we had made the right choice. It was clean, well equipped and had everything we needed for a comfortable stay. We immediately felt at home. Alisa, as usual, took her role of chief explorer very seriously. She inspected every corner, checked all the lamps, tried the beds and made herself completely at ease, which is always a good sign. We all genuinely loved the place. After settling in, we were pretty tired from the drive, so we headed to a local restaurant for dinner and of course made our way down to the sea. The water was a bit colder than I expected, but still refreshing and beautiful. By the way, later that day we had an online university exam, philosophy, with one of our strictest professors. It was intense, lasted over an hour and left us completely drained. But we passed and the relief was huge. While we wandered around the playground, enjoying the warm evening, the guys got the barbecue going. It turned into such a cozy night. Alisa was all smiles, we were chatting and laughing, and the air buzzed softly with the sound of grasshoppers. We stayed out late under the stars, talking and enjoying the calm night atmosphere. The next morning, we woke up early and went straight to the beach. This time the water was much warmer and we finally got to swim properly.
Сколько камушков? Дочь пошла просить. Акулы!
After soaking out the sun and enjoying one last walk by the sea, we packed up and started our journey back to Slovenia. On the way home, we made a stop at the town of Kacevje. It's one of the most densely forested areas in Europe and home to wild bears. We ate at a little restaurant there and the food was delicious. Fluffy pancakes, creamy mashed potatoes, crispy schnitzels. If you're ever in the area, it's definitely worth a visit. For our final day, we saved a visit to Ljubljana, Slovenia's charming capital. The very first thing we did was take the funicular up to Predjama Castle. Just that short ride felt like an adventure. Once at the top, the view truly took our breath away. The castle itself was fascinating, full of stories and old stone corners to explore. We wandered through the castle grounds, soaking in the sunshine and that peaceful feeling of being above it all.
Tomorrow my mom and brother, they live in Slovenia, so we decided to show them Ljubljanski grad.
One of my favorite spots was an alley of trees, a quiet little pathway near the edge of the hill the castle is built on. You could sleep behind the bushes, find a bench and just sit and dream with the whole city resting in your palm. It felt like one of those hidden places that was made just for moments like this.
Шишку нашла?
О, ты предводительница? It was such a perfect ending to this trip. Calm, soft and filled with that gentle goodbye feeling you get when a trip starts to wrap up. We stood together looking down at the streets we had walked a year before that when we first arrived in Slovenia, and now here we were sharing it all with our family. As the trip came to an end, we found ourselves at the bus station again, saying goodbye to my mom and my brother. The bus was taking them to Vilnius airport, and from there they were about to have a long trip back to Moscow. It's never easy to part, especially with your family, especially when you don't know when you will get the chance to hug them again. This was more than just a trip. It was a reminder of how deeply we belong to each other, no matter the distance. From alpine peaks to the sea, we created memories that will stay with us forever. I can still see us walking the full circle around Lake Bled, watching over Lake Bohinj, visiting the stunning Soča River, hiking up the Velika Planina, exploring Postojna Cave by train, and standing in awe at Predjama Castle. This journey wasn't just about seeing Slovenia and its surroundings, it was about experiencing it together, laughing, exploring, and savoring every moment. I hope our adventure has inspired you to take your own road trips through Slovenia and, more importantly, to hug your family members. Thank you for traveling with us. I hope it made you feel something too. Till the next journey, with love from our family to yours.